Gangsters carried out a daring daylight gun attack on young men playing football.
Over in Clarendon, a 9-year-old boy is dead and a woman is nursing gunshot wounds after a gunman launched an attack in Maypen last night.
We begin with the gruesome report that has gripped the country all day. A woman and her 4 children are dead. A community left in shock and a manhunt on for a person of interest.
Tobago recorded 2 murders in the past week, the latest occurring early on Wednesday morning.
In other news, 2 suspects are in police custody in connection with Tobago's 10th murder for 2024.
A new movement has sprung up on the island nation of Trinidad and Tobago, demanding an end to what's being called a plague of violence against women. But
in more news, a mother and her 8-year-old son were found stabbed to death on Tuesday morning.
Haiti is on the verge of the abyss. Now that's the language the United Nations is now using as heavily armed gangs expand their control of the country.
The nation of Haiti is in free fall. Just 600 miles off Florida's coast, the country that is no stranger to struggle is facing a confluence of humanitarian, security, and political crises.
Those are just some of the news clippings seen by Caribbean natives on a daily basis. Every day in the Caribbean, an average of nearly 15 people lose their lives to murder. That's more than 5,400 homicides a year in a region that's often seen as a paradise. But behind the sun-soaked beaches and lush landscapes, a deadly reality lurks. One where crime rates in some countries rival those of the most dangerous places on Earth. Today, we're diving deep into the heart of this crisis by examining the top 3 deadliest countries in the Caribbean: Jamaica, Haiti, and Trinidad and Tobago. These nations, celebrated for their vibrant cultures and natural beauty, are also grappling with some of the highest murder rates in the world. What's fueling this violence? Why are these countries struggling to keep their streets safe? And is there a way out of this deadly spiral? Stay with us, because the answers will surprise you, and they may change the way you see this part of the world forever. Before we get started, if you're finding value in this content, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Your support helps us continue to explore the stories that matter most. Now, let's begin with Jamaica, a country where music and violence intertwine in a complex dance, and where the murder rate tells a story of a nation at war with itself. Jamaica, the land of wood and water, has long been a beacon of Caribbean culture, but it's also a place where the harsh realities of crime cast a long shadow. As of 2023, Jamaica's murder rate was among the highest in the world, with over 1,300 homicides recorded for the year. To put that into perspective, that's more than 47 murders per 100,000 people. But why? What is it that drives such a high level of violence in this island paradise? One of the key factors is the deep-seated economic inequality. Jamaica has a history of economic challenges, with a significant portion of its population living below the poverty line. In 2022, the World Bank estimated that about 19% of Jamaicans were living in poverty, and this economic hardship often breeds desperation and crime. Imagine living in a community where every day is a struggle for survival, where opportunities are scarce, and violence is a constant threat. What would you do if you were in that situation? Could you resist the pull of the streets, or would you too be drawn into a life of crime? Then there's the issue of gang violence. It's estimated that there are more than 300 gangs operating in Jamaica, primarily in urban areas like Kingston and Montego Bay. These gangs are involved in everything from drug trafficking to extortion, and their activities contribute significantly to the high crime rates. In fact, the Jamaican Constabulary Force attributes over 60% of the country's homicides to gang-related activities. But gang violence isn't just about crime. It's also about power and control. In many communities, gangs fill a void left by the government, providing services and protection in exchange for loyalty. This dynamic creates a cycle of violence that's incredibly hard to break. In addition to economic issues and gang violence, Jamaica also struggles with corruption. Transparency. International's 2023 Corruption Perceptions Index ranked Jamaica 74th out of 180 countries, indicating that corruption is still a significant problem. Corruption undermines law enforcement efforts and erodes public trust, making it even harder to address the root causes of crime. Yet, despite these challenges, there are efforts underway to turn the tide. The Jamaican government has implemented several initiatives aimed at reducing crime, such as the Zones of Special Operations, which combine social interventions with increased security measures in high-risk areas. These efforts have shown some promise, but the road to lasting peace and safety in Jamaica is still long and uncertain. As we move forward in this video, we'll see that Jamaica is not alone in its struggles. Haiti and Trinidad and Tobago also face their own unique challenges when it comes to crime, and together, these three countries paint a sobering picture of the Caribbean's ongoing battle with violence. But before we continue, if you're finding this video insightful, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and give this video a thumbs up. Your support helps us continue to bring you content that matters. From the streets of Jamaica, we now turn to Haiti, a country with a history as tumultuous as its present. Haiti, the first independent Black republic, gained its freedom in 1804 through a revolution that inspired the world. But today, it's not the spirit of freedom that dominates headlines, it's the staggering level of violence. In 2023, Haiti's murder rate was one of the highest in the Caribbean, with an estimated 21.5 murders per 100,000 people. This is a country where instability and violence have become part of the daily routine. In just 1 year, over 600 people were killed in Port-au-Prince alone, a city plagued by gang warfare and political unrest. To understand the current situation in Haiti, we must look at its history. After gaining independence from France in 1804, Haiti was forced to pay reparations to its former colonizer, a debt that crippled the young nation. Over the course of more than a century, Haiti paid France the equivalent of billions of dollars in today's currency. This massive financial burden stunted Haiti's economic growth, leaving it vulnerable to the cycles of poverty and instability that continue to plague the nation. But it's not just poverty that fuels the fire. The political situation in Haiti has been volatile for decades, with frequent changes in leadership, corruption, and a lack of basic services. This instability has allowed gangs to thrive. Today, it's estimated that nearly half of Port-au-Prince is controlled by armed groups who engage in everything from drug trafficking to kidnapping. Can you imagine the pain of losing a loved one to violence, knowing that justice might never come? In Haiti, many families live with this fear daily. What would you do if you were in their shoes? Would you have the strength to fight for change, or would despair consume you? Haiti's struggles are not only economic and political, some believe they are spiritual as well. The practice of voodoo, a religion with deep roots in Haitian culture, is often misunderstood and sometimes blamed for the country's woes. Some outsiders, and even some Haitians, believe that Haiti is cursed, pointing to the island's history of natural disasters and ongoing violence as evidence. This belief in a supernatural curse, whether rooted in voodoo or other practices, adds another layer of complexity to the nation's challenges. In 2021, the assassination of President Jovenel Moïse threw the country into further chaos, leaving a power vacuum that has only exacerbated the violence. The UN reported that in the months following Moïse's death, gang violence escalated dramatically, with dozens of neighborhoods in the capital turning into battle zones. Haiti's law enforcement agencies are underfunded and ill-equipped to handle the scale of the problem. The Haitian National Police, with just over 15,000 officers, is tasked with protecting a population of over 11 million people. That's roughly one officer for every 730 citizens, far below the global average. This lack of resources has left many communities vulnerable to the whims of armed groups. Despite international aid and intervention efforts, the situation remains dire. The UN and other international organizations have attempted to provide assistance, but without significant changes to the political and economic systems in Haiti, these efforts have often been seen as band-aid solutions on a gaping wound. Haiti's future remains uncertain, and its people continue to face unimaginable challenges every day. The violence that grips this nation is not just a symptom of its past. It's a reflection of ongoing struggles for power, survival, and dignity. If this segment has given you a deeper understanding of the complexities in Haiti, consider subscribing to the channel. We're committed to bringing you the stories that matter, shedding light on the realities that often go unseen. As we leave Haiti, our journey takes us to Trinidad and Tobago, a twin island nation known for its vibrant, carnival-rich oil reserves and diverse culture. But behind the colorful festivals and economic success lies a darker story, one of rising crime and a society grappling with the consequences of unchecked violence. In 2023, Trinidad and Tobago recorded a murder rate of approximately 35 per 100,000 people, placing it among the most dangerous countries in the Caribbean. With over 500 homicides that year, the Twin Island nation is facing a crime wave that shows no signs of slowing down. But what's driving this surge in violence? One of the key factors is the island's role in the drug trade. Trinidad and Tobago's strategic location just off the coast of Venezuela makes it a critical transshipment point for drugs moving from South America to North America and Europe. The lucrative nature of this trade has fueled gang activity and contributed to the escalating violence. It's estimated that there are over 100 active gangs in the country, many of which are heavily involved in drug trafficking, arms smuggling, and other illegal activities. In addition to drug-related violence, Trinidad and Tobago has seen a rise in organized crime. Kidnappings for ransom have become increasingly common, with high-profile cases making headlines and instilling fear in the public. The government has struggled to contain these crimes, and law enforcement agencies are often overwhelmed and under-resourced. Another contributing factor to the high crime rate is the economic disparity within the country. Despite its wealth from oil and natural gas, the benefits of Trinidad and Tobago's economic success have not been evenly distributed. Pockets of poverty and unemployment, particularly in urban areas like Port of Spain, have created environments where crime can thrive. The unemployment rate, especially among young people, remains a significant concern, and many turn to gangs as a means of survival. But Trinidad and Tobago's challenges are not just domestic. The country also faces external threats, particularly from extremist groups. Over the past decade, Trinidad and Tobago has had one of the highest per capita rates of recruitment to ISIS, with dozens of citizens traveling to the Middle East to join the militant group. This has raised concerns about radicalization and the potential for homegrown terrorism, adding another layer of complexity to the nation's security challenges. How do we create more opportunities for those who want to change but feel they have no way out? Is there a point where society should give up on someone, or should we always believe in the possibility of redemption? The government of Trinidad and Tobago has implemented various measures to combat crime, including increased police presence, anti-gang legislation, and social programs aimed at addressing the root causes of violence. However, these efforts have met with mixed success. Corruption within the police force, a lack of trust in law enforcement, and the pervasive influence of gangs have all hindered progress. Trinidad and Tobago stands at a crossroads. The nation's future depends on its ability to address these deep-rooted issues and create a safer environment for its citizens. Whether it can overcome the challenges posed by crime, poverty, and extremism remains to be seen. If you found this exploration of Trinidad and Tobago's struggles with crime informative, please subscribe to the channel. Your support allows us to continue bringing you in-depth content on the issues that matter most. As we've journeyed through the Caribbean, exploring the dark realities of Jamaica, Haiti, and Trinidad and Tobago, it's clear that while these countries share high levels of violence, the root causes and contexts vary widely. Yet, there are also striking similarities that reveal broader regional issues. One of the most glaring commonalities is the pervasive influence of gangs. In Jamaica, Haiti, and Trinidad and Tobago, gangs wield significant power, often filling the gaps left by weak governance and inadequate law enforcement. These groups not only perpetuate violence, but also create environments where crime becomes a way of life, trapping entire communities in cycles of fear and poverty. Economic disparity is another thread that ties these nations together. Whether it's Jamaica's entrenched poverty, Haiti's crippling economic legacy from its colonial past, or the uneven distribution of wealth in Trinidad and Tobago, the lack of economic opportunities has driven many into the arms of criminal organizations. When people see no legitimate path to a better life, the allure of quick money through illicit means becomes too tempting to resist. Corruption also plays a pivotal role in all three countries. In Jamaica, corruption undermines efforts to combat crime and erodes public trust. In Haiti, it has contributed to decades of political instability and made it nearly impossible to implement lasting reforms. In Trinidad and Tobago, corruption within the police force has hampered the fight against organized crime and further alienated citizens from those meant to protect them. Yet, despite these challenges, each country also faces unique issues. Haiti's struggles are deeply intertwined with its history and the spiritual beliefs that shape its culture. Trinidad and Tobago's proximity to South America and the global drug trade creates distinct security threats, while Jamaica's high levels of violence are driven largely by gang rivalries and the economic inequality that permeates its society. Understanding these nuances is crucial for anyone looking to grasp the full picture of crime in the Caribbean. It's not just about numbers or headlines. It's about the complex interplay of history, culture, economics, and politics that shapes the reality on the ground. So, where does this leave us? The Caribbean, a region renowned for its beauty and cultural richness, is also grappling with some of the highest levels of violence in the world. The stories of Jamaica, Haiti, and Trinidad and Tobago remind us that paradise can sometimes hide the darkest of shadows. But these stories are not just about despair, they are also about resilience. Despite the overwhelming challenges, there are those in each of these countries who are working tirelessly to bring about change. From grassroots organizations to government initiatives, efforts are being made to tackle the root causes of crime and build a safer, more just society. For those of us watching from afar, it's important to remember that these issues are not confined to the Caribbean. They are part of a larger global pattern of inequality, corruption, and violence that affects us all. By understanding what's happening in these nations, we can better understand the broader forces at play in our world today. Is there a solution to the violence that grips these nations, or are they doomed to repeat the cycle of crime and poverty? What would you do if you were in charge? Could you find a way to bring peace to a land that seems cursed by its past? If you found this exploration valuable, please consider subscribing to our channel. Your engagement helps us continue to bring you in-depth content on the issues that matter most. And if you have thoughts, insights, or questions about what we've discussed today, leave them in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the Caribbean. Stay safe, stay informed, and we'll see you in the next video.